So, what we have here is this really powerful cautionary tale. It's all about the choices we make and, well, the phantoms we sometimes decide to chase.
All right, so this line right here, this is everything. This is the storm that's brewing inside our main character, Eleanor Hart. She's looking out from her cozy home in Bloomsbury at her life with her husband Arthur, who's a really kind guy. But she doesn't see a sanctuary. No, to her it feels more like a waiting room for a life that's just fading away.
So this is the world we're dropped into. We find her here, in this life that Arthur has built. And he is a good man, an inventor, completely absorbed in his work, building the future. He provides a life that's warm, it's safe. But for Eleanor, man, it's a world without any real color. It's like a cage, a cage made of kindness, and it's just slowly but surely snuffing out her spirit.
And this right here is the heart of the conflict, what's just tearing Eleanor apart. So you've got Arthur's world on one side. It's solid, it's dependable, but let's be honest, it's predictable. And on the other side, there's this deep, unspoken yearning she has for a life of intense feeling, of passion, of just being truly seen and celebrated for once.
And then, a new voice enters the picture. It just cuts right through the noise of this London art exhibition. It's the dark, smooth voice of Sebastian Thorne, a charismatic Viscount. And this guy, he's not just looking at the painting on the wall. No, he looks right at Eleanor and sees her. He sees that discontent, and he speaks directly to that emptiness she's been feeling.
So let's talk about this seductive phantom. This guy, this captivating stranger, he does more than just charm Eleanor. He basically shows up and presents himself as the key to a lock she didn't even realize she was trapped behind.
And wow, are his words effective? I mean, this isn't just simple flattery, right? He is validating this secret belief she's held deep down, that her life is just wasting away, that all her beauty and spirit are being hidden. He's offering her the exact celebration she's been craving. The way he tempts her isn't some big sudden storm. It's much more subtle than that. It's this slow, deliberate campaign. Each little gesture, a single flower, a bit of poetry, these whispers of an exciting life somewhere else in Paris and Venice. It's all perfectly calculated to feed her fantasy and just pull her further and further from her reality.
So when Eleanor finally decides to leave, Arthur's reaction is, well, it's quiet, but it's absolutely devastating. It's not some angry plea or a desperate bargain. It's basically a prophecy, a really grim warning that the freedom she thinks she's running to, it might just be another cage, one she's building all by herself.
Okay, so Eleanor does it. She walks out that door and into her new life, but as you can probably guess, the glitter of Sebastian's world starts to fade. And it fades fast. She's about to see the brutal, transactional reality hiding just underneath.
And her fall, it's just as swift as it is complete. It happens in these stages. First, she's the masterpiece, the beautiful object he shows off around Paris. But then, she learns she's just currency. Her beauty is something he uses to make deals. And finally, when her value is all used up, she's abandoned.
And this is the final cruel goodbye. With just a few cold words, he tosses her aside like a painting that's gone out of style. He leaves her totally ruined, with no money, all alone in a city where she knows no one. Which brings us to the final, and honestly, the most heartbreaking chapter of Eleanor's story. The illusion is completely shattered, and now she has to face the consequences of her choices. So 3 years go by. 3 long years of just surviving, of degradation, of living on charity. When she finally makes it back to London, she's practically a ghost, just a shadow of the woman who left looking for a more vibrant life. And then, by some twist of fate, she stumbles upon this newspaper headline. It turns out the quiet, kind of boring guy she left behind didn't just survive without her, he thrived. Arthur has become this titan of industry, a celebrated inventor connecting the whole British Empire.
Wow. I mean, the contrast here is just devastating, isn't it? While she was off chasing this glittering illusion and basically became the wreckage of that fantasy, Arthur was back home building a real, tangible future from the mess she left behind. He was the steady flame. She chose the fleeting reflection. So we get to their final confrontation. It's silent, it happens in his office, and Arthur just looks at her. But you have to understand, he doesn't see the woman he once loved. Not anymore. He sees the walking, breathing result of her choices. He sees the ruin that she chose to become. And his final move, it's not out of anger or revenge.
It's just finality. Absolute, quiet finality. He just closes the door. And that soft little click, that's the sound of her fate being sealed forever. Not by him, but by the path she herself chose to walk.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really haunting question. You know, Eleanor ran from a cage of comfortable safety, but she just ran straight into a much more brutal one, a cage of illusion and despair. So it really makes you think, doesn't it? Which cage was the real one? The one she left behind, or the one she built all by herself? Please note that all names used in this story are fictional. Any resemblance to real individuals is purely coincidental. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, share, and give us your feedback in the comments section. We look forward to welcoming you to the next episode of Neverland Syndrome.